And we are live. Just waiting for a few more to filter in. Hey, Paul, how are you? Glad you could stop by for a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we've got Mr. Roy de los Santos. He'll be here in just a moment. Everyone sit back, enjoy the show, ask some questions. As usual with Roy, no hold barred. I think Roy gave a new meaning to the term transparency. And he came back, as he said he would. This is his first full week, I believe. Kick back and have your questions ready. I know you'll have some. And enjoy the show. Let's get this thing going. There he is. Commissioner de los Santos. Is that how we address you now? Commissioner de los Santos?
No, you guys knew me before I was a commissioner. You can still call me Roy.
That's very kind of you, but we'll give respect where respect is due.
Thank you.
How are you doing? How are you? I haven't talked to you in a little bit, actually.
I know. I'm going through withdrawals.
Right?
I think the last time
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. I can't do a 4-hour show tonight.
No, neither can I.
I can barely do a 2-hour. We might have to keep this, normal, like an hour or something.
I think we can do that tonight.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't talked to you since before. No, since election night, right?
Yeah, election night. I jumped on with you guys for a few minutes.
How have things been going? How did your swearing in go? And
the swearing in was great. When they gave us the option of doing it at City Hall or outside on the steps of City Hall, or choosing our own location, since the City Commission is still meeting by Zoom or WebEx, I decided to have my own function. So I did it at my cousin's house in his backyard. That way, the folks who worked on the campaign, some of my supporters and my family could be present. And it was a nice event out by the Dasaka, out by the pool.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. It's always nice to have family and family around.
Absolutely.
Friends, the ones that matter the most, right?
No, they're the ones that made it possible. So that's why I wanted the people there. It was less about me and more about the community.
That's great. Hungry Hippo says, hello, David Smith. How are you, sir? David Lee, what's up?
Hey, David and Diana.
Betty Rubble, Commissioner Roy's first show.
Hello,
Is this your first show, or were you on somewhere before since then?
Nope, I have not been on anybody else's show. I would not cheat on you, Manny.
Not that I get mad or anything. No, but that's much appreciated. Congrats, thank you for keeping your promise, Roy. Yeah, I believe Roy when he said he'd be back and give us the updates and give us the explanations as to what happened at City Hall and in their meetings and that kind of thing. And for those of you who didn't believe it, here you go.
Absolutely.
And we can fire away. He's not shying away from anything. I know there are a few things that we do want to bring up. Oh, well, I guess one thing really that people were asking about. But I do thank you for coming on tonight. I know it was kind of short notice. I was thinking about doing it tomorrow, but it's a Friday. I don't want to interfere with the public's Friday evening events with family, and it's payday, and it's go out to dinner time or go out to the weekend, whatever. So I said, you okay on short notice? And he gracefully said yes. So
absolutely.
Do appreciate that. Paula Master, thank you, Commissioner and COB, for donating 3,000 COVID-19 vaccines to Index, the Maquiladora Association. That's pretty slick. I think that's definitely a good thing.
And it's what the entire country should be doing, because we're in a global economy, and you in the airline business, that just as well as anybody else. And it's not just about getting the country healthy, which we're doing. It's about getting the world healthy, because they are our customers, they are our family members, they are our friends out there. So once the world as a whole is in a much better place with regard to this vaccine, it's so much easier to get back to life to normal.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, they donated, as of right now, 3,000 vaccines, and they've been busing people over from Mexico into Brownsville, drive them here, let them get vaccinated, and then driving them back to work, I guess. And that's going to work out well. And I think there's more of that coming. This was just the first phase, and that's awesome. You know, you can get into the debate to vax or not to vax, and don't be a sheep and all that crap and whatever. It's like, generally speaking, at least I feel this way about the Pfizer vaccine. I think that one's been the safest one by far. That's the one I did get. You know, I am type 2 diabetic, and that's the only reason why I did get it. I just wanted to be safe and not put myself in any situation. I do work with the airline. I do work with the public. And I'm okay so far. So I did lose a friend, former coworker, a few days ago. And they were not saying that it's not COVID. He didn't have COVID. He did get a vaccine recently. I don't want to talk a lot about that. I don't want to speculate. It's very fresh. It's too soon to get into, in my opinion. As soon as I get more information on that, I will share it for someone who may be interested in the information. But right now, just say, Robert, once again, rest in peace, my friend. Do a couple more here. Good evening, gentlemen. Hi, Hilda. And David Smith, great job, Roy. Also helps with the Nationals coming across the shop. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dina. So you got a week just about in.
Yes.
How goes it?
It goes well. There's still so many meetings to take and still so much to get my hands on. I'm going to try and attend as many city board meetings as possible, aside from the commission, to get a real feel for what's going on with the different boards in the community. And getting feedback directly from citizens serving in that capacity is something that's real important to me, as well as the citizen at large. I don't want a lot of reports that are distilled by staff members, and that's all I listen to, or that's all I rely on. I want to hear directly from the people, because that's where we get the raw data, and that's important to me.
Yeah. What is you had your first shoot, I don't know, I've been out of town and traveling. Have you had your first meeting yet? No,
yeah,
not yet. I mean,
2 days ago, July 6th was our first full commission meeting.
What were the hot topics on? I know that the mayor put out all this money coming our way, and grants for this and grants for that. And there's a lot of grant money coming in.
Yeah, there was not a lot of hot topics in the sense of anything we needed to vote on that was controversial. We did have a first look at the budget as a new commissioner. Everything else was pretty run-of-the-mill. The biggest attention grabber, I would think, and I know I've had several calls on it, was the ARP funding, because that's extra money the city's got to put to use now in the community, and we can do some great things with it. And so far, it seems like they've got a good plan. A big portion of that is going to go towards developing broadband for the community, because we need to expand our access to broadband. The pandemic has taught us nothing else. It taught us that, but I think we've taken away several lessons from it. But that's what we see.
Now, that broadband, is that going to be like a citywide Wi-Fi situation, or is this?
I think this is a several fiber rings that they're working on building out and making it more accessible so that people can connect. It doesn't sound like it's citywide Wi-Fi. I think that will enable us to be able to provide Wi-Fi in certain areas, possibly city parks and different communities as needed. But making it accessible is absolutely for people to subscribe to. So I know right now, some areas where you live, you've got no choice. And I know we've run into this at our Manny Foundation office in Brownsville and at the Sombreros Festival headquarters in Brownsville. There's only one provider that services the area today, and our speeds are less than 12 megs.
Oof. Yeah, I know that's here. I was going to put this document up here. See if I can expand that a little bit. City of Brownsville Commission approved funding and allocations of $65 million from American Rescue Plan. That's what the ARP stands for.
Yep.
And various citywide initiatives. And then here, kind of a bit of a breakdown as to where some of that money will, what is allocated for. Downtown water, wastewater improvements, definitely needed.
Yes.
I think we're feeling that, from what I hear, I haven't been home, but a lot of flooding going on, a lot of rain coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that money, how soon does this money become actually available? Or when does it get put to work, in other words?
I'm not sure about that. I've got to have meetings on that to confirm. So I know there's still some working of the numbers in certain areas that we're still waiting on feedback from different organizations within the community who've been affected to make sure we've got the full picture before they start spending some of that. But it may be that in some of the other areas where there's no question about what the money's going to go towards, they may have started in those areas already. But I'd have to confirm that.
Gotcha. The city manager's office presentation to the city commission proposed just over 65 million of ARP funding investments to meet federal requirements while being in alignment with the city's commission strategic vision. So part one of the initiative, and we'll just go through some of these real quick, 19 and a half to the broadband deployment, like we were talking about, just over 14 million for the downtown wastewater improvements. 11, just over 11 million for Los Tomates Nature Preserve and the regional detention facility. 10.5 million to the municipal revenue loss premium pay. Now, what is that necessarily?
And I'm working on pulling up the slides on those. Okay. I think they give a breakdown.
No problem. Take your time with that. I'll just keep reading some of this stuff here. The second part is identified COVID-19 response and city ongoing efforts. And as a continued citywide initiative, just over 2.5 million for tourism and nonprofit revenue loss. Let me scroll here a little bit. 650,000 for the city of Brownsville Public Health Department assistance. 250,000 for business digital inclusion efforts. And then the 50,000 for marketing communications, ongoing communication efforts, and 20,000 for the reimbursement to Texas Southmost College for rehabilitation of the Amigo land space for vaccination efforts. And so things are definitely happening, and a lot of good stuff going on here. Hey, Abel, how you doing, bud?
All right, I just sent you screenshots of several of the slides that are part of that deck.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, a bunch of stuff here. Well, I'm getting these things ready. What kind of feedback have you been getting since all this went down on election day, I should say?
All mostly positive. I am getting a lot of citizen concerns as well, and that was expected. And I'm glad to see that the mayor was on top of that today, because the city had been given a report on the brush pickup that we were all caught up. But we know that's not the case if you drive around town. And so the mayor's been proactively getting citizens to provide what streets and neighborhoods they're in without asking for specific home addresses. That way we can take that list to Republic and say, these are the areas that are still not served. And in some of them, the reports we're getting is they did one street over, or they did two streets on either side of me, but they missed ours, or they did part of our street, not the whole street.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if what Republic was thinking is if they touch an area, they consider it caught up, but there's still piles out there. I'm still hearing about that daily. So that is a top priority for us right now.
Yeah. In the rain, it just keeps coming down and keeps coming down.
Yes.
Oops. Yeah, wrong one here. Let me grab the right file. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to give you some dead time. Here we go. And I guess we'll start with this slide here. See if I got the right one here. Nope, still don't. My apologies. Hang on. No, no, no. Okay, I'm having some technical difficulties here. This thing freezing up on me. Give me a second to work out this situation. Yeah, here we go.
In his defense, it was a lot of data I sent him. So
Yeah, it was quite a few slides. It's all right.
And for the general public, if you go to the City of Brownsville website and you go to the Agenda Center and look at the agenda from the Tuesday meeting, if you download the packet, everything that we're going to talk about tonight is part of that packet. It comes directly from that. So everybody has access to this.
Okay. Is this a good slide to start with, or should I pick a different one? Where do you think I should start?
This is good because I think that was one of your first questions on municipal revenue loss and premium pay. And I don't know that it will answer all of our questions or give us enough detail on it, but that's just to give us an idea of the breakdown. I think hot revenue loss is an easy one to discuss because we know that hot is the hotel occupancy taxes. So, yeah, during COVID, when hotel stays dip, that's less revenue that's coming to the city and those taxes that go to different organizations and projects in the community. Yeah, premium pay and enterprise fund, those are a couple that I need more information on.
All right, let me get to our second slide here. And I wish they had a different system for doing this where it'd be a lot easier to maneuver. And in the meantime, also, I will bring up, as we discussed, a question that some people had. And if some were concerned about it more than others, some are not. But here, Los Tomates Nature Preserve. And this is out by the Veterans Bridge.
Correct.
Let's see, drainage plan, ongoing project, stormwater retention for the town, the Saca and North Main drain systems, creating a constant draw for the Impala pumps. Establishing a habitat that connects to the UT property and creates a source of fill for the future construction of East Loop. I mean, this is going to be a busy town, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Whether we like it or not, this is going to be a busy town and there are big things in our future. But if we work together and if we've got good leadership and good vision and manage it right, we can really maximize the potential here.
So one thing I wanted to bring up here, Betty Rubble says she didn't see a Betty Rubble fund in there anywhere. Maybe next time, but I'm glad new stuff is coming better to us. Yeah, Republic must go. I don't know if it's just, are they understaffed as well that they just can't ever seem to catch up? Any idea on that? Any talk on that at all?
Nothing concrete. I have heard that, yeah, they were understaffed because they had lost some folks due to COVID as well. And then, of course, with the freeze, there was just more brush than was normally generated because of how much foliage died out there. So it's understandable that there was going to be some backup. My greater concern, and I have not looked at their contract. I don't know when their contract's up. I don't know what options are available in those contracts right now. But yeah, my greatest concern is that there were missed opportunities. I think there was people out of work already. And you've got folks that are landscapers out there. You've got folks with trucks. You've got folks with flatbeds. If you don't have the manpower to go do it, you know what? Contract these guys. Pay them so much per truckload. Have them go into these neighborhoods, haul that brush to the city dump. We can make an arrangement where the dump tracks everything that comes in and bills it back to the Republic or bills it back to the city, whatever we need to do. But there were able hands out there that could have been employed, I think, to help tackle this and get it under control much more quickly.
Yeah, and there still are. I mean, this is just a whole other, a new stream of work. I mean, you can put people to work.
Absolutely.
And there is plenty of work out there. There for help wanted signs everywhere.
That's right. And that's something that I can say, and as future contracts come up, that's something I'll absolutely push to see built into them, is that in emergency times like these, there has to be a mechanism that automatically kicks in where they have to go above and beyond. If that means contracting out, they need to contract out whatever it is. And if they do not, then the city needs the option to withhold money for whatever services we're not getting. And then the city can then contract out using those funds. But bottom line is the citizens are paying for service. They're not getting that service today. So there needs to be more accountability for it.
All right. I guess here's the one principal slide. Direct ARP fund proposal encompasses the whole $65 million. Your little pie chart, so to speak, on the left side. Gives you all the percentages: 29, almost 30% for that broadband, 26% for the drainage. Some would argue, take some of that money away from the broadband and put more towards the drainage, because that's a big problem down here, down in Brownsville, in a lot of areas. I mean, all it has to do is rain for 15 minutes, and it's easy to see where the problems are.
Absolutely.
And let's see what else. Downtown wastewater. Yep, that's important. Municipal revenue loss premium paid. And let's see. So one question, Angel. Hi, Angel. How are you? What infrastructure projects would help improve water flow or street cleanup?
That's good question. And yeah, I think some of those projects that it's talking about on there are going to do just that. And I'm hopeful. I've heard buzz. I did not see it, and I really meant to go drive down Boca Chica Boulevard to take a look at it during the rain we had this week to see if there has been any improvement to the drainage in that area with all the construction that's gone on. I've seen reports from different citizens that is the case, so I'm hopeful and optimistic. But as with anything, I want to see it for myself.
Yeah, I think when was it TxDOT, and when they did that Boca Chica project. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure on some level, the city was consulted, obviously.
I would hope.
You would think that would have been a great opportunity to put some new drainage in there.
Yes.
I mean, that's the primo opportunity to double the size. I don't know what the sizes are of these, sewer systems underneath there, but obviously they're not big enough.
Right.
And it's always been a problem. And that would have been the primo time to do something like that, take advantage of it.
Let's hope they did. Let's hope.
I don't think you mean hope that they spoke about it, talked about it.
Not just spoke about it. I'm hoping it was done. Because if the reports that I'm seeing on social media from different folks saying that the drainage or the flooding was not bad on Boca Chica since that construction, then maybe they did do the work.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, the little bit of rain that I saw when I was there, everybody's always posting photos and stuff.
Yes.
So I would beg to differ.
Okay.
People watching, if you know something different or what are your experiences, but from what I understand, it still floods, Okay. And without the center median, when that median was just blank, everybody would gather and they would make one lane coming and going to stay out of the water. But now, guess what? Can't do that.
Right. Unless you got a 4x4.
This is true. Today, G-Bic with the RGV Event Show. Prom, it's great to see you there, Mr. Dos Santos.
Likewise, Rosie.
Yasmin, there's people that just don't have the trucks to haul big brush, tires, furniture, other items. That stuff does take up a lot of space.
Exactly. We realize that they don't have that, Yasmin. That's why we should be, if they're not able to keep up, we should be contracting those citizens that do have that ability and that are looking for work and just cleaning up our city. I like that.
Never give up. So much foliage, so much died. I mean, I lost a palm tree. I might have lost 2 palm trees in my backyard, but one for sure. I don't know if it's going to come back. I don't know if they can come back for something like that. But
I don't know. I know I've seen several different trees that appear dead, but at the base of their trunk, they're starting to sprout new leaves and new branches.
Yeah.
So it's a good sign, but I'm not sure if the rest of the tree will bounce back or if it's all just going to be new growth and whatever's dead on top needs to be cut back and disposed of.
So what I want to know, and this is something you can, I don't know, I'll put this out there and you can run with it. It seemed like when they announced the sandbags, it was already raining, and that's the first anybody ever heard of it. Why can't there be I don't know if it's a department or a task force, some kind of planning department? Mm-hmm. I mean, when the area that we live in, you have to be looking at the weather all the time. You have to watch the weather.
Now, I know Public Works for the city of Brownsville is who handles that. And I know we were in constant communication with Cameron County this week as well, in anticipation of the rain that was going to be coming. And I know at the start of hurricane season as well, they'll usually open up their warehouses for citizens to come in and collect sandbags just to have them ready for the hurricane season. There are times where rain's coming and they're just getting on it. Not enough advance notice there, but I think there's been plenty of opportunities, and they're probably just not publicized well enough, so the citizens aren't aware that they can go do these things well in advance of any downpour.
Yeah, because it seems, I mean, almost anyone can there are certain national weather forecasting tools that
Yes.
somebody has to keep an eye on and go, hey, you know what? Next week, starting Monday, Tuesday, we're going to start getting some rain.
Mhm.
So now that it's, Wednesday or Thursday, let's start making noise about come and get your sandbags.
Right.
And not limit it to, 4 sandbags per household or 6 sandbags or something like that.
Right.
I don't know if that's going to cut it. Where the sand comes from? Where does sand come from? We get from the beach, I imagine.
I can't imagine it's all coming from the beach because of the erosion issues we already have out there.
Yeah,
Can't believe that's what we're doing, but I don't know if there's sand pits out there that we're drawing that from. That is a question I will be asking.
Yeah, where does that sand come from? I mean, obviously everybody's gonna think, well, it comes from the beach. Just go to the beach and grab more sand. But I imagine there's some dune areas where you can grab some. That's not a proper term or anything, but there's got to be a way to allow more sandbags or have people come in. I mean, they sand their own. They bag their own sand. Isn't that right?
A lot of times that is the case, but from what I understand, this time the county had them ready to go. Citizens were not going to have to bag their own. And my understanding from the city is that traditionally the city preps them in advance as well, so that citizens can just drive through, and it's a much more efficient collection process.
Yeah, much more efficient. You don't need a traffic jam and back up because people are getting out and.
You don't have to wait in line to bag your own when there's other things that you need to get, other provisions you need for your home when the storm's coming.
Security Drive in Boca Chica is the worst. Yeah, that area there is.
I know that's traditionally been one of the worst. I'm not sure what it was like this week. Did you see it this week, Yasmin?
Yeah, if any of you guys have seen some of this flooding, if there has been on Boca Chica, where we have the new median there, let us know.
Yeah.
Pop your comment in there.
As bad as it always has in the past.
Yeah, Betty Rubble, security was flooded by Wells Fargo and is more dangerous, and accidents are still happening.
Okay.
And one thing that is happening a lot because of the that new median, that new center, is people are doing more U-turns.
Yeah.
And holding up traffic, and at the last minute, they're just bolting out and making a U-turn. That's, it's things could have been, I think, done a little better than that. I mean, would it really be unreasonable for us to want to sue the city for water damaged vehicles?
It wouldn't be unreasonable to want that, but I can't imagine a lawyer would take it, only because these are areas that have flooded forever. So yeah, if you're parked in an area that has flooded forever, they would shift the blame to the car owner. Like, you knew rain was coming, you shouldn't have parked in an area that floods. Does the city have some responsibility there? Absolutely. But if this was a brand new development that suddenly flooded when that wasn't expected, then absolutely you could go after developers, you could go after the city and say, something was not done properly here if this brand new neighborhood is flooding horribly. But for areas that have always flooded, it would be a hard case to win in court. Would be my take and my amateur opinion. I
wonder if it was a class action lawsuit, where 100 residents had car damage or whatever got together. I mean, I still don't see that being a winning situation there, but
it gets some attention.
Yeah, and I get the frustration. Totally understand that.
Yeah.
Manny, since you're in the airport advisory board, tells them to turn on the air conditioner for early flights. Flew out of our gorgeous airport on the first flight of Dallas, and the AC was off. Ooh, that's not good, because I know they put those chillers outside that are massive, and they're supposed to be like perfect. I can bring that up, definitely. What steps would the city take on improving communication in case of emergencies? That's something that I was going to bring up. That's what I was talking about. Communicating the sandbag thing. Not everyone subscribes to the city's Facebook page,
right,
or Twitter if they have one. I don't know if they do or not, or Instagram. I don't know what other sources, venues for social media they have, but not everyone subscribes to the city and gets those alerts. So. Common sense marketing. If you want to get information out there, even if they had to pay for it, is, pay for the advertising and start making noise about it and let everybody know and try to get just a more of a marketing effort.
Definitely marketing, but I think one of our biggest opportunities that I don't think we leverage today is text messages. Like when those Amber Alerts go out. And I can tell you the city of South Padre Island does that. Whenever they've got some big emergency, they notify every citizen who signed up for those text message alerts. I still get them because I used to live on the island several years ago, and I've just never opted out because I like seeing that. I like knowing what's going on out there. But I don't think I've ever seen anything like that from Brownsville. And I can't say that they absolutely don't have it, but if they do, I don't get those messages yet. I need to see about getting myself on that. And if we don't have it, then we absolutely need to implement something like that. Because I think even senior citizens today are getting a cell phone, even if it's a basic cell phone. Their families teaching them how to use it, and they communicate. My grandfather in his 90s had a cell phone. So I know that would be a way to communicate. And that's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, it would, and that's one step is, all right, dial, text 25 25 25 to this number, and you'll be put on a list. The next part of it is, all right, now we have that service. The next part is getting people to sign up for that and get on their phones and participate.
That's the marketing,
which is a whole other issue. And I think that and getting out to vote, trying to people a voting drive, a constant get out to vote is, I think, something that Brownsville needs to, and Cameron County, I should say,
definitely
has to be a constant push. Don't just tell people to vote a month before the elections.
Right.
It's going to have to be a constant thing.
Mm-hmm.
How to fix the driving culture in town? Boy, that's not that. That's the commission's problem, but
well, it's a problem we have to contend with. It's not something that's within our purview to be able to just correct, unfortunately.
You have some drivers who really think that nobody else is on the road except themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have drivers, Mexican nationals that come over. I mean, there's a different habit, and they're here and they're afraid to drive here. So they're not speeding, but driving slow. And that can also cause problems.
Yes.
And so I don't know, since we're on the border, should that be another area of, well, we're going to have to advertise or market, hey, when you come into Texas, when you're going to drive here, keep in mind these things. But
absolutely,
that's a tough one.
And I think that's something we could do with geo-targeting. So when somebody's coming into the country and into Brownsville, an automatic alert goes to them, and giving them a link to our site or to a little video that gives them the lowdown on what they should expect and how they should hold up their end when visiting our city.
And what is the legality of allowing? Let's see, how do I say this? Is it legal? Not that you would know. If you do know, maybe you could answer this. Is it legal to want to say, if you're going to come to Brownsville, if you're going to drive, you must have auto insurance. You got to have insurance.
I think that's the law today already, just in Texas. If you're going to get and be on the roads, you've got to have insurance. Now, it's about enforcement, though.
Yeah.
Are we going to be checking at the bridges to see proof of insurance before we let them in the country? Or are we going to set something else up to check as they're coming off the bridge and coming onto city streets?
See, I'm okay with that, but I'm okay with voter ID laws also.
Yep.
And not everybody agrees with that, and I know maybe it's too extreme, but yeah, I think you're right. Enforcement is the problem here.
No, and what I'd like to see on voter ID laws, I'd love it if we could get to like a fingerprint or facial recognition. That way you're not limited to, if you lose your ID, well, you can't vote anymore because you lost your ID and you've got to wait for a new one. I'd love to see where everybody's identifiable by some type of biometric. That way there's no denying who you are, that you're a U.S. citizen, and these are your rights.
So touching on voter ID, people automatically say, well, if you agree with that, you must be racist and you're trying to suppress people you're trying to keep them from voting. That's the big thing.
Yeah, I've heard that same rhetoric, and I think that just like you see on the other side of the aisle, you've got folks that are extreme who would absolutely try and use that as a weapon to target some groups, but you've got people who are just good Americans like you and me who absolutely believe that voting is sacred. And yes, it is a right of U.S. citizens, so we need to make sure the person casting that vote is entitled to that right and not somebody else.
Yeah, 100%. And if you don't have an ID or a driver's license and you need an ID, I'm pretty sure there are programs there that will allow you to get one if you don't have. I mean, if you really can't afford it, I believe there are programs where they will help you with that and still let you get an identification.
And I
So,
think it's, yeah, as a state, we need to be proactive. And if we know there are people that are below the poverty level and can't afford it, we should be providing those at no charge.
but the driving culture, how do you get people to eat? You know, I'm talking about Texas people. How do you get them to use their turn signal? I mean,
Right. Yeah,
that's
driving is where, where my patience is tested the most, is when I'm behind the wheel. So like, there's some people just, that's just an opinion, of course. I'm like, they don't belong on the road. If you don't know how to drive, don't be on the road. Find a driver, take the bus, something. But they've got a right to be out there. It just drives me crazy sometimes when they don't follow the traffic laws.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Now, you said the magic word, one of them, bus stops, and don't forget about our bus stop
Oh no,
covers.
That's one report. I know they've already sent me one email on that because that's a big question for us. And I believe even the mayor said that so far we don't have an answer that we're impressed with and pleased with yet. So we're going to continue to work that issue until we get one that does satisfy us. I think part of the problem is also the type of structure that the city's been looking at. And I know you want something that's going to weather well because of the elements and because of the heat in South Texas. But by the same token, if we're only going to be putting up 10 at a time because we're spending $50,000 or more on them, it's going to take us a while to cover the city. I think the more important thing is get those shelters up. And if we've got to replace them regularly, short term, until we can start to invest in something that lasts longer, long term, little by little, then we do that.
Yeah, and maybe put a few up just to see. Well, let's see how these work out, and
Exactly.
we're going to test them.
Yep.
You know what? And budget wise, from that $65 million from each one of those allocations, just take this little 0.5% from each one, 0.5%, and now boom, now you got money to put these up. And now, from what you said,
where the funding was coming from, I know there are different grants that are coming. I don't think it was a 65 million, but there are grants that are funding some of the shelter expansion that we're going to see.
Yeah, that's definitely something that people are not going to forget about. That's for sure.
Right.
The sandbags came late, and that was Cameron County, but it's a hurricane season already, and we shouldn't have missed this chance because we know that we have so much construction and erosion. That's what I'm saying. It's frustrating, the lack of communication.
Yeah.
And I know you can tell everyone to get more involved and look for information, but I really think the city should make a greater effort to,
of course, to communicate
it and say, hey, you know what? Every now and then, once a week, twice a week, put out these ads, or they go over the internet, they go on Facebook. Hurricane season is coming soon. We're gonna have sandbags. Come pick them up whenever you want. Monday through Friday between whatever and whatever, like 8 hours a day. Come get your sandbags, and just a constant effort to protect everybody.
Absolutely.
My guess is river sand.
Some people just don't have the time to make the effort and go dig and investigate for themselves. And that's where the city does have an obligation to be proactive in communicating.
Yeah, there has to be a way. And if you got to get volunteers, I don't know, drive around, put sandbags on a truck and go down. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking crazy, but sandbags on a truck and drive down and have people who need them come grab a few. I don't know. It's just an idea for those who can't travel or don't have a car or don't have a truck to put them in, that kind of thing. Allow more than 4 tires to be accepted if you really want cleaner lots, and no standing water and tires for mosquitoes. Boy, mosquitoes is a problem.
Yeah.
Tires is a problem.
And there's no reason to limit it, because we know that if we're limiting it, then it's just going to be taking up space somewhere else in our community.
Yeah, why is there a 4-limit tire? I mean, if somebody happened to dump, I'd say, you know what? You got tires, bring them. You got 20 tires, I don't care, bring them. Let's get them away from those lots. So, these kind of things like that need to be looked at and discussed. Why is it a 4-tire limit?
Absolutely.
The problem is hurricane season beginning, sandbags ran out too fast. They should have had other days, and those flood areas that do flood. Good place parking lot behind Boca Chica Chick-fil-A. There's a lot of good spots to do a sandbag drive, if you will.
Right.
Yes, I was parked in Wells Fargo, and vehicles were all trying to go towards the middle.
Okay, good to know.
So it's still a problem. It's not, I'm almost positive they didn't
Take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, and it's frustrating, man. Oof.
Yes.
Great question, Angel. Yeah, but with the median, it made things even worse. So although security has been known to flood, security drive, things are getting worse. And yeah, and I know they're not done, but it doesn't seem like things are going to be getting better with that. It's very frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And now if they have to fix it again, here we go.
Yep.
Wow. The cones and barrels making things. That's true. Some of they're really narrowing the road a lot. Some of these barrels are put out way too much.
Yes.
And I know they get bumped a lot. And
we don't see crews working often enough, in my opinion. I mean, there are several times I drive down Boca Chica and can say I don't see one person working out there.
Yeah.
And I think for a thoroughfare of that nature with the traffic it sees, we should be working around the clock.
Why wouldn't the city of Brownsville do, well, I guess if it is Brownsville, if it's Cameron County or TxDOT, and I know in other parts of Texas they work overnight.
Right.
They work at night and they get a lot of things done. Don't deal with the traffic in the daytime or limited activity in the daytime, and then come nightfall,
full force,
more active. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing needs to be talked about. And
that should be standard. If it's a state highway and the state of Texas and TxDOT is footing the bill and it's their project, it should be the same standard wherever they're doing it.
Marisa, hey, welcome.
Hello, Marisa.
Hello. Thanks for visiting with us. So one question is, most of these problems begin with city manager's office. It's doesn't begin there necessarily, but it goes through there.
Yeah.
All the billboards on the expressway should have emergency info. Text messages, like other cities, is a great idea. Post flyers at stores. Flyers can get a little too tedious. Take advantage. Definitely text messaging. There are a couple of new digital billboards out there along the highway. Yeah. Easy to put stuff up there and just keep it there. During emergency situations, that's a good spot to put information. Do you have any idea when the brush will be picked up in our district? Susan, she's in 3.
It's in some areas of the district, it has been picked up already. In others, it has not. I think we talked about that a few minutes ago. We're waiting for an update from Republic because we've got a list of streets that have not been picked up yet.
Yeah, I think that topic's got to be pushed to the top of the list. It's
at the top.
Yeah, the hurricane shelter is ready in a car. We have in case we have a storm come our way. I don't know, just from what you know as of right now. Granted, you've been in the seat for a week only. Do you think we're ready? Come some nasty storm?
I would say that I know the facilities are out there. I don't know that the conversations have been had to a great enough degree yet to partner with schools to open gymnasiums, for us to open the dome and how it's going to operate, and to ensure we've got generators for the places that we would use as shelters. I have not learned anything new in the first week on the job specific to this. That's something I need to look into. But I know if the city works together, and not just the city trying to do it all on its own, but we need to work together with the county, work together with the port, work together with the school districts. It's easy. There's no problem that we cannot tackle if we work together.
Yeah, let's do what you can to get things done. That's what everybody wants. They want to know that something is going on. You can talk about it forever, but get something in motion.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be great to see the city of Brownsville take the lead on uniting Cameron County during emergency communication. Brownsville, South Padre Island would be the first communities to be affected by something major.
Right.
And we should set the example. This is how things should be. I think the emergency system should be revamped. Again, I gave this example in the airlines. Every regional airport, Brownsville's got one, Harlingen's got one, McAllen's got one. They have an emergency plan in case of a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dozen binders, each one tasked with a different thing, and you've got volunteers. Should something happen, God forbid, everybody grabs their folder, their binder, and they know what they're going to do, and it's like a machine.
Yes.
And that's what needs to happen, even on a smaller scale, in case maybe not a hurricane, but a big rainstorm.
No, and every time the season starts, every time we have a hurricane season start up, there should be the plan should already be in place. We should have already talked to all the stakeholders needed to get all the moving parts together, and then there should be some type of promo going out to the public, saying, in anticipation of hurricane season, whatever, when the storm hits, these are the areas that have been identified to be opened up as shelters. This is the protocol. This is what you need to do. Have that available year round for our citizens.
I'm telling you, people feel better when they hear from their leaders.
Absolutely.
If there's no information, just spew what you have, but talk a lot, be there a lot. People want to hear from city leaders.
If you guys see me looking down at my phone and making notes every now and then, as we're talking about things, I'm making notes to add to my list of things to tackle for the city, because I want to make sure we don't miss anything. Awesome.
That's awesome. Ben, how are you, sir? There should already be plans in place to deal with heavy rain and flooding. Hurricane season has started, and why is the city manager's office so unprepared? I don't know if they're unprepared. It just feels that way. And again, when the community doesn't hear anything,
right,
they just get a bad feeling, like, oh man. And then of course everything negative starts, right?
Yes.
And so it would be, I can't express enough. I was a GM for United Airlines in a particular city years ago. And if you had no information, your employees want to hear from you no matter what. And,
absolutely.
Come and talk to them regularly. They want to know somebody's there and somebody is on top of things, trying to make things happen. Even if nothing is happening, say, look, there's nothing going on right now, blah, 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 whatever.
To know you're looking for the answers, even if you don't have them already.
Yeah, and that's part of the transparency message, is coming out and talking to everybody like all the time.
Absolutely.
I think that's important. As well, I saw a white older gentleman on a wheelchair literally in the middle of the two lanes at KFC. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. And the traffic stopping suddenly because they didn't know if he was having a hard time crossing or pandering or what he was doing. It just causes problems all the way around. Something's got to happen. Before I go on with some of these, okay, so let's talk. People were asking right away, and I mean right away, the next day after your election victory was, well, let's see what happens with his court appearance for his DUI situation. What happened with that? What's going on with that situation?
It was pushed to August 26th.
Oh, so you're saying that the elites push it back, so you don't have to deal with it? Is that what happened?
They must have. The elites must have pushed it back if they haven't wiped it off the record already. But no, this wasn't something that I sought or that I requested. I don't know what the discussions were with my attorneys and the district attorney's office as far as if they were prepared or not prepared, or whose side it was that wanted more time. But I know I just got the notice, no need to appear in court on that day because it was moved to August 26th.
August 26th. Okay, so there's more time so
yeah.
So there it is, folks. It's his court date or whatever hearing that is, or whatever that situation is has been reassigned. The court let him know he did not petition for that. It does happen sometimes. Nobody elite was involved. At least I don't think so.
No. And I don't know that it was the court that said we're changing the date, or if it was the DA's office or my attorneys who requested based on how prepared they were to go to appear before the judge. That I'm not sure of.
Yeah. And they do reschedule things a lot anyway. Yeah, there's a kitten.
He's my blind kitty.
Today, Betty Robo got her MVEC bill, and people always complain about PUB, but my MVEC is the highest I've ever had. She also has PUB water, and $450 for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath is great. Wow, that's a lot. That is high.
Yeah, and that's definitely an area I want to look at more, PUB and the rates we charge. I know when I had my house, when I was still married, I had my sprinkler system set to run on a timer, but every day to keep my lawn looking good. And yeah, that summer, I think my bills were $600. It was outrageous.
Yowza.
Now where I'm at now, and I'm all PUB, but I'm in an apartment, I pay about $60 a month, which is nice.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I know generally people complain about PUB and the rates are high, but You know what? If you call PUB, I've had to call them a few times, and they come out and they take care of the job. The guys that work there are awesome, and they try to find the problem.
Good
Check
people.
for water leaks. If you guys don't have any water on in the house, go and check the meter, and it shouldn't be running. It shouldn't be moving. If you've got no water running in the house, that meter should not be moving.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have a leak. So look for that also. Some drivers use the finger and point left, right, and yes, the middle lane finger. Yeah, it happens. Also consider a splash guard, as I've seen rude drivers drive fast on the right lane and splash the bus waiting. Oh, yeah. I mean, we can't, can't build.
I laugh because that reminds me, and this was not done intentionally, but in my neighborhood, when I still had the house, there was a time I was driving through, and like at the intersections, there were dips. And I knew that already about the dips, but this was like the first time driving through the neighborhood when it was raining. So I wasn't anticipating that. And it just so happened one of my neighbors was on the side of the road, and I think they just put their kid in the car seat, in the back seat. And I guess I hit it just the right way that I saw the splash, and I felt so bad. I'm like, this is horrible. So I love the idea of splash guards. That's something worth looking into.
What's a splash guard? I mean, you can't go and build a room, a box, and have people enclosed, completely protected. I mean, now we're talking. That's a lot of money now. What is a splash guard?
I don't know. It's something that I'm going. I don't know. It goes on the curb. Are you trying to get? Hang on a second. Let me get my kid down.
Gotcha.
He's ready. Yeah, you managed to get up blind, but then you can't get down.
So flash, yeah, I have to look into that. I didn't think there was such a thing. Anyway, all that's going to do is add to the cost, I imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people get off on that splashing somebody on purpose sometimes. Chris, how are you, sir? There are ADA, veteran, and other grants that are already in place for cities with a lack of shelters. There are bike pedestrian grants, so the bus shelter doubles as a bike stop. Yeah, I would hope that those would be prepped for bicycles. Hungry Hippo, I've missed all the sandbag giveaways. Not good days. I've been working. I know, and I know they can't cater to every single person and be completely available to every single person, in the city, but there has to be a way where they can have different locations, and there has to be a way. Because people do work, and some just can't get out, can't get away.
Right.
What's up, guys? Commission, and there's show host. Yeah. The weekly host, co-host, Mr. De Los Santos. I never see workers on Boca Chica, but on 802, they are there. Yeah, so what's up with that? That's the second time I hear that. It's like, well, I see him working on 802. I don't see him working on Boca Chica. I don't know. I would hate to think there's any truth to that, but,
I know on 802, there's a long section where you don't see anyone, and it's because they're working further down past Paredes. Boca Chica, I have not seen that being the case.
So true about working crews. The crews at the airport were working nonstop very early in the morning. I know the airport situation is it's getting to people. It's taking longer than it should have. So they're still laying down concrete and preparing the ramp area, the ground for the bridges to be installed. And it's just taking, I don't know if it's just taking longer or what the delay was, but now when you get to the airport, as somebody mentioned, they were there, you have to go to the airport, go to the terminal. When you're ready to board, they put you on a bus, and the bus drives you around the construction area, get on the airplane. Same thing when you arrive, you get off the airplane, get into a bus, and then they drive you to the terminal, and you got to walk through the terminal. And it is what it is. It's just, I don't know what the delays are. I will try to find out. But it is frustrating, but once it's done, it'll be great. I promise. It will be great. I've only seen a couple workers on 802. The machines are just there by themselves all this time since the project started. I'm sure the rain doesn't help either. Weather doesn't help either. Hey, Lynn, welcome. Juan Carlos, welcome. Tell me you are from Brownsville by not telling me you are from Brownsville. All streets look like downtown Baghdad after it rains. Like a disaster area, right? Yeah, drainage is a problem. Roy is right. Before a weather season, we should have info available. Right now, they need to prepare for next winter.
Yes.
And in winter, they should prepare ahead for summer. Yeah, I mean, that's just constant planning.
Exactly.
Constant. You have to plan, not react. When you react, that's how things don't happen and problems happen. I'll tell you this much: as a consumer, the median does discourage my travel in the area. Therefore, less money going to those surviving businesses. And that's true. I think when I am home between trips, I notice that anytime that word comes up, Boca Chica, I was like, nah, let's not go. I want to go there. I want to go somewhere else, and I'll go around it. And my sister for sure doesn't want to go through there. We're like, nah, we'll go somewhere else instead.
And I can say that's true for me while the construction's going on. But yeah, it'll be good to see, after the construction's wrapped up completely and everything's operating the way it's designed, to then talk to those business owners and ask them, all right, what's business like? Is it returned to normal? Is it picked up? Is it dropped off? Because we need to know about things like that for the future.
Is there an ETA of when this project should be completed?
I'm sure there is, but I'm not aware of what that date is.
I think it'd be good to know that. Yeah, definitely talk to them. Don't wait till the last second and try to give them some kind of peace of mind that yes, we're gonna help you.
Right.
Because people are taking a hit. Hey, Snoopy, up here in San Antonio, we also get texts from mayor and city officials alerting people of potential disaster and where to go and what to do in case of an emergency. And families, households, you guys need to make your own plan also. A lot of times when there's a disaster or a bad snowstorm, rainstorm, hurricane coming, you may not all be home at the same time, or some people are out of town. You need to make a plan. Where is everyone going to meet? If we get all separated, where are we going to meet?
Right.
How many miles in? What town are you going to go to? Get there somehow. How are we going to meet and plan these things out? I'm serious.
And I remember growing up, they always used to encourage families, in case of a fire, you've got the escape routes planned, and you know where to gather outside, so you're not wondering if everybody got out okay.
Yeah, I applaud the sheriff's office. I saw them with their big military vehicles out and about. And it's good. OMG, man, I saw the bad flooding by the aquatic center. The street had more water than the inside pool. Yeah, that's never good.
I like that analogy, that comparison.
Oh, I know, right? You want to go swim? Just go out. You don't even have to go to the aquatic. Don't pay. Just swim outside. Obviously, the running theme here is drainage, and it's still bad. So whatever you can do to emphasize that. I know it's already on the top of the list somewhere, but you need to put a little exclamation points afterwards. I'm glad you said that you're taking notes. Yeah, it is. I mean,
definitely.
Somebody involved. Brownsville has a lot of growing up to do. I hope all this input will be taken into consideration. The mayor thinks we are trolls when we suggest things. Yeah, I wouldn't say he thinks that everyone is a troll. There are trolls out there, negative Nellies or whatever you want to call them. But
definitely not the folks suggesting things, because that's what I like the most. Is I like hearing the ideas and the suggestions, not just complaints. And when I say that, I mean, we want to hear about the problems. Let us know their problems, absolutely. But not just complain, and never a solution or never a suggestion.
Yeah, David Smith, I've spent over 20 years in hotel and restaurant management, and we had plans to deal with emergencies. Why does it seem that the city has no plans and seems surprised when anything happens? And yeah, and that's what we're talking about. It's a problem.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that they don't have a plan. It just seems that way because they're not doing an effective job of communicating it to the people.
Yeah, I think you've got notes on that already.
Well, and honestly, and I've said this before in other areas, I think there's a benefit to once you start sharing the plan with the public, you might get feedback you didn't anticipate. And it might be that there was something you missed in this plan. And having that discussion with the public would alert us to it sooner so that we can close any gaps that might exist. But if we're waiting until the emergency happens to launch it and then share it with everybody.
Yeah. What is your, so now that you've had your meeting, you've been in there for a few days, What is something you have in mind? What would you like to accomplish? I know we asked you this during the candidacy, but what's something now that you've had a few days anyway, and getting some feedback, I'm sure. What's something that you'd like to see accomplished?
Much of the same. Not a lot has changed there. Something that's encouraging. Friends of mine who are opening businesses, for the first time in Brownsville, have given me very positive feedback on the experience they had with the permitting department and with city inspectors. So, and I'm starting to see that a little bit more and hear that a little bit more. So I'm very glad, because I know that was one of my biggest concerns, is the permitting process. I'm going to keep a close eye on that moving forward. And I know the city is working towards a digital application process for building permits. So you don't have to go stand in line and fill out applications by hand and sit in the lobby waiting. So that's good. I think that's something that's absolutely needed. And that's why broadband access is so important. And the surveys of customers, of citizens who are served in the different key areas of the city, PUB, city secretary's office, the permitting department, 546 help, anywhere a citizen's getting some type of service from the city, we need to be talking to those citizens and getting feedback and determine what the satisfaction levels are and where our opportunities lie.
Yes, very, very good. What steps has the city of Brownsville taken to create a true recycling program? The city should lead by example. I don't know. Didn't the city do bins once? And I don't know. That didn't go over very well.
I vaguely remember something like that. I do know that the mayor put something out just this week on expansion of recycling services. And I know I've spoken to one of my fellow commissioners, and there was a time when curbside recycling was on the agenda, minimal cost to citizens, and I think it missed by one vote. And so we're hoping to be able to bring that back, and hopefully we bring that to the city. And we try it out, see how it works, and if it's effective, as long as the cost is minimal, because we don't want it to be cost prohibitive, but we know the importance of recycling.
Yeah, definitely.
That's coming, Angel. That's definitely coming.
I have my AC at 76 while I work. I leave the ceiling fans going and 2 regular fans running on the floor. My electric bill has maintained low. When I'm home, I'm just one of those that I need it to be cold. I just can't help it. It's just I can't.
I'm the same way, Manny. And it's funny though, and I don't know if it's age, and I hate saying that it might be age, but I remember, before, like during the day, I wanted my AC at 72 max and had my ceiling fans running. At night, we would turn it down to 69 or 68. So I wanted it really cold. Now at my apartment, I've usually got it at 76. And there are days I walk in where it's 76 and I'm freezing. I'm like, why am I cold at 76 degrees?
Yeah.
And at night, I don't turn it down anymore. I'm very comfortable with just a ceiling fan. So I don't know what it is about that number. And I remember friends who would set it at 76, and I would tell them, you're crazy. That's just too damn hot. And now I'm one of the 76ers.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I do travel a lot. I'm at different major hotels a lot. And I got that sucker set at 66 to 68.
Ooh, that is chilly.
And it's good sleeping climate.
Yeah.
If you guys do need to use your AC, try to keep the use at night. It's a lower rate at night. Same thing with washing clothes, doing laundry, using your washing machines, dishwasher. And I got to find out what time. If I'm not mistaken, it's after 9 p.m. or something like that. After 11.
I didn't even know there was a discount rate at night.
Oh, yes, there is.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether they advertise it or not, I'm pretty sure they don't.
Uh-huh.
But I can try to find out. I had business owners tell me this, that they knew of residential, that, he goes, don't wash clothes now. Wait till tonight. It's like, oh, interesting. So keep that in mind, too. Hi, Carol.
Hey, Carol.
Manny, Roy, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in, Carol. Manny, maybe you know or not, early in the AM, like between 4 and 6 a.m., I hear a faint, constant boom sound towards the airport. Is there any sound in the airport that causes it? That's not coming from the airport. Remember, a boom can travel. Sound can travel for a long ways. It could be activity out at SpaceX. Yeah, could be. and sound can travel, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's nearby. Construction vehicles, it could be from the Boca Chica area. That could be, yeah. Nothing at the airport, though. Believe me, airports don't like loud, explosive sounds.
Or maybe the port even.
Yeah, that's possible, too.
Some of the ship breaking and stuff going on.
Past weekend, the HEB parking lot was like a lake.
Is that the Boca Chica HEB truck?
Yeah, let us know which one is that. I mean, don't forget your plan needs to include pets. Yes, when you're making your emergency plan for your family, yeah, don't neglect your pets. I know it's bad things happened in that Miami building collapse, and some pets did perish. Sad. I hate reading the article. I don't want to read it anymore. And it's heartbreaking. So when you're making your plan, your emergency plan, where are you going to meet? Include your pets. I recall getting the hurricane tracking paper maps with hurricane preparedness info, food to buy, evacuation plans, etc., in English and Spanish in early morning, coming in from public schools.
Yep.
That information needs to be disseminated as much as possible. I mean, there's not enough. It's just not enough right now. Over 10 years ago, they used to have a charter bus registry through 211. For those in case of emergency, you reserve a spot to leave for those that don't have anyone or don't have a car to leave the city. I don't know. Have you heard? Do they have anything like that still? Some kind of emergency evacuation bus or any plan like that?
I would imagine so, only because I know within the last several years, I recall times where I heard about buses taking off to evacuate. I haven't seen anything like that since I've been in office yet. And that's something that I'll be talking to them about as we talk about the emergency plans.
It's very important. Got to be pouring of concrete. Here in Land Lakes, we had earthquakes when they worked on New Horizon Clinic Foundation. Damn. Mm-hmm. Earthquakes. Hey, Robert. Yes, our neighborhoods are full of brush everywhere, and we need that to be done as soon as possible.
Yep.
I know. I think resources are low. I think industry-wide in the trash hauling, waste management, I think it's industry-wide. There's a shortage. There's a shortage of a
shortage. You increase the pay. You pay a premium. You get caught up.
Yeah, ideally, it's that simple. COVID really messed up a lot of things.
Yes,
that situation, and then leaving that situation to continue also messed up a lot. Anyway, that's for another topic, another show. If you need anyone to help in the area, let me know. I would be glad to share what I know to help make plans. Input is always welcome.
Definitely.
Rosie, I've had 9 years hearing this sound, though. 9 years.
9 years.
Maybe airport tower radar device? Nope. Those things are silent.
Yeah.
It's got to be construction from somewhere. The ship, the port sounds like a good. You get pieces of metal. Sometimes those containers drop, heavy metal container onto the metal ship. That makes a loud noise too.
Now, if it's the other thing, I don't know about in that area though. I remember as a kid, times I'd spend the night at my grandmother's when you've got the trains connecting and disconnecting cars. They usually bang into each other.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the proximity is to the sound to the interchange yard out there, but that's another possibility as well. And when you're talking between 4 and 6 a.m., that's a distinct possibility. So, yeah, I would say the trains or the Port of Brownsville are your most likely culprits.
Yeah, I think that's called humping, if I remember correctly.
I don't know.
Connecting train cars, and they literally have to make them crash into each other.
Yes.
For the mechanism to lock.
That's right.
So that is possible. City of McAllen has been recycling for years. I don't understand how Brownsville can't do it.
No, it's not that Brownsville can't. It's just that they haven't. And believe me, we can. And I am working with my fellow commissioners to make that happen.
Yeah, something definitely has to happen. Excuse me a second.
Sure.
Things, people, because of the way things happen, and I'll get into that in a minute also. People are, hold on, not forgetting a lot about what happened. So, on purpose and for those reasons, they're going to remind you of things and make sure promises you made or things we talked about, you said you were going to do, are going to get done.
Absolutely. And yeah, the citizens should absolutely hold me accountable.
Hey, Commissioner Roy, are you friends with Commissioner 1? That's North Golonsky.
Very good. I see her regularly. In fact, I was sitting beside her at lunch today at that developers conference. Let me talk to her about that. I know she's very approachable and very accessible. Most of my first encounters with her, even before I was considering running for office, were during the pandemic when I was volunteering with some of the food distribution in different parts of the city. Lots of stuff that was going on in District 1, whether it's food distribution, trash pickups, cleanups of that nature. I would always see Commissioner Golonsky there. She likes being out in public. She likes being available to the people. I don't think she goes on a lot of shows like this to reach the masses, and that may be why some folks feel like you don't hear enough from her. But trust me, she's very, very open, very approachable, and I think we're going to have a great working relationship together.
Yeah, I may reach out to her again. As I said before, I think you have raised the bar as far as transparency and being made available to the public. Mm-hmm. And I think people will want that from their commissioner in their respective districts, and they're going to go, "Man, Roy's on there all the time. How come my commissioner that talking somewhere?" and so might be a new trend starting. Just so you know.
Let's hope. So
I see they're cold. Yes. Run through these some real quick. Any talk? I know. I guess it's a little too early. You just got in there, but public comments, audio, technical stuff. That's. Be sure to put that on your list somewhere.
I got public comments. What do you mean by audio technical stuff?
Just that we can hear. A lot of times we can't always hear everyone.
I see.
And
a public comment.
And that's more important, I guess. I guess we can hear, but those cameras in there, I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking. Just a little gloomy in there. Could be a little brighter, a little better video work.
Well, I can tell you're talking about City Commission chambers, correct?
Yes, sir.
That room is being gutted and completely redone. I know they're keeping the bar there, the historical bar from when it was a courtroom, but everything else is being revamped. And as I understand it, part of the effort is to make it also more ADA compliant.
Yeah.
That citizens with disabilities have easier access. And so also if we ever had a commission member who was disabled, they'd have no problem getting up to their seat. I know personally I saw that firsthand because our board, when I was on the Board of Adjustment, we would use chambers for our meetings. And at one point, one of our members did become more incapacitated. She was wheelchair bound. And so she would have to sit with the city attorney because they're on the floor level and there was space for her to wheel up to that, but she could never come back to the commission seats with the rest of us. That didn't impede her ability to vote on any and participate in any discussions. But it's unfortunate that someone who's a challenge like that would not be able to sit with the rest of the voting body. So that's going to change in the future.
Good to hear that. Lynn says, yeah, she does laundry after 11. Magic Valley says 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. are peak times and to keep from outages. And it's also, you know what? Sometimes it's good to don't make it so cold and just leave the AC running versus turning it on, turning it off. Because when you turn them off and then you turn them back on, that does draw a current, and it pulls from that's a bad thing when a lot of that happens at the same time. Mm-hmm. I would say it's safer to leave your AC running. Just don't have it so cold, and just try to find a temperature that's comfortable. Oh, Southmost HEB he was talking about. Chuck Nelson was about the flooding.
Okay.
I live close by Ozanam, so I live close to the airport. It's a very consistent boom, like someone banging a bass drum. It's very daunting. Just curious. Hey, see if you can record that. I'm curious to see what.
I'll record in Brownsville if you're by Ozanam.
Yep. I'm sure they have emergency evacuation buses and planes for those coming across. Roy, I have a question. Can a person that lives on a dead end street get the street changed to their name?
And let me make a note of that, because that's one thing. I've seen it twice in the last decade or 2 decades where they had, first it was Coffeeport Road, where there was a renaming of it without really having protocol in place. And then it was, they were made aware that there was a coffee family that it was named for, and that shouldn't have happened. And they had to go back and split it. And then we saw it again with Fronton Street being changed to McNair Family Drive. And it's that there still was not a good process in place. And then a process got put in place. And then as it got looked at closer, it turned out that wasn't a good process either. So I'm not even sure that they've solved that issue. But if they haven't, rest assured I will.
Ben wants Ben Benavides
Street. I think anyone can petition if they've got enough signatures from the residents in that area, and it would be considered by the commission.
Ben wants Ben Benavides Boulevard. That's what he wants.
What's the street named right now, Ben?
Ben, drop that in there if you're still with us. The dull boom. Yeah, record that. I want to hear that, Jasmine. Is there any plan to audit PUB? What's going on with what do you know as of right now? Again,
the audit is underway, and from what I understood, the last I had heard, and I had heard it from Commissioner Neese before he left office, that it was about 65% complete. I don't know why it would take so long to complete an audit, because the book should be pretty black and white, but that's my understanding of where it's at. Excuse me.
Well, the important thing, hopefully it's true that it is underway and it's more than halfway complete. I would be curious to find out where those millions went to. If commissioners don't want to be on shows, why not make up their own live shows once a week to give us a couple hours of their time? Tell us you're working on a project and want the ideas, acknowledge our complaints, and that's what we were just talking about right now, Yasmin. Hopefully,
an interesting idea.
Hopefully, Roy can start a new trend, and other commissioners can do the same thing. They're welcome to come here. I'll have anyone on who wants to. I'm going to reach out to some present this and see what obviously in an unofficial capacity. We're not going to hold another meeting from the official one, but
no, I think what we could do, to Yasmin's suggestion, and I like that, the city has a comms and marketing department. It can be done where citizens can send in concerns that are specific to a district or to the city at large. And then, the commissioner, the mayor, anyone from the districts could come on and do like a 30-minute or 1 hour promo video where they talk about things and even answer any questions that had come in advance. And that way, if they're not comfortable in a setting like this where there's someone asking them questions live, that might give them the comfort to be able to prep their answers in advance. But I think it's absolutely worthwhile, and it would be good for them to touch their constituents like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say this about Commissioner 1, my childhood district commissioner response to emails, which I can't say the same about my own district 2. So just reach out. And I will say I have emailed Ms. Golonsky, and I have heard back from her, and she did respond and she did take action. So I don't have complaints on her. I did at first when I didn't know anything about her, and but I can't say anything bad right now, other than it would, again, Roy is raising the bar on making appearances and talking to the public. And I think more and more residents are going to start demanding that, or something like it, Roy, can you clear something up from Hungry Hippo? What is the ordinance with having chickens and roosters? Now she's being for real with this.
I know she is, because I heard that during the campaign also. I don't know. I never looked at the ordinance, but I will look it up.
They seem to be popping up everywhere now. I was woken up the other day by a rooster at 5 a.m. It's a new area. So it's not one of the older neighborhoods. And it's not the first time I hear that. And it seems like, okay, I'm not going to say anything else on that right now, but it just seems that it's happening more and more over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
We have faster access to city concerns through Facebook or YouTube than having to drive, after work to the meetings. A lot of people can't make it. Even if everyone wanted to go, there's no room to have, 300 people or 400 people in there.
Right.
It's the modern age. We should have easier access to public forums. Agreed. I've been there. So it's off La Feria Road. I've been there 31 years. Terra Place. There's like 12 people that live there. All my friends off La Feria.
Now, the question is, would they sign a petition to have it renamed for you, Ben?
Do they love you that much, Ben? Are you okay with that?
Right.
Ben Benavides Boulevard. Man, maybe you can get some of the city officials from Mercedes. My hometown Mercedes is always on the news when it floods. Yeah, definitely noted. Definitely noted. It'd be good to get some other ideas, see what everybody else is doing, and with certain.
Oh my gosh!
Hungry, we have roosters, chickens, geese, pigs, and peacocks in the hood of Southmost. On top of the owls, possums, raccoons, snakes, and tarantulas.
What part of Southmost is this, Betty? Because I know my dad lives on Southmost, but Dad is in county. The city's right across the street from him.
I think Betty said, she mentioned before she was near the airport. She's mentioned that before.
Okay.
I mean, there's wildlife for sure, and you got to imagine that with SpaceX activity, maybe some of that wildlife is starting to venture out.
True.
That's a possibility. Chickens are allowed. I hear rooster here on Shoreline. Yes. Yep. Okay. Yeah, Roy. What about cats? There are a lot of cats out of the street, which is in District 3. What can we do to control the cat population? Yeah, that's a good question too. Stray cats. I got stray cats around my house. I even take care of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind because I have not had a rodent problem in a long time.
Yep, there are pros and cons to it. Yeah, we need to definitely do more. And I know that there's a lot of groups, and a lot of times I think it's going to take public-private partnerships to get things done. And just today, I donated $25 to a GoFundMe, or not a GoFundMe, through Cash App, to folks who they find strays that are in need of neutering or in need of medical care. And a lot of times people just pitch in $5, $10 to get the care that they need to take them to a vet or to get the medication. So I think it's going to be definitely the city needs to do its part, and the community needs to continue contributing the way we are already. But yeah, the RGV cat lovers, RGV dog lovers, the missing pets, all on Facebook. Great communities doing great work out there.
I know that in Brownsville, it's fairly expensive to have a cat taken care of, or a dog also. The Laguna Madre, trying to think of the name, Animal Society or something like that. They do it cheap. They can take care of. They fix the cat, $55. You just have to do it by appointment. Yeah, that's very reasonable. And so look at that. The Laguna Madre. I'll look it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look it up. But it's in.
The thing is people find strays, and that's one of the things I see a lot. They'll find a stray in different areas, in different cities, and they'll say, "I can't take him home," or "I can't afford to pay for the care he needs. Can somebody help?" And inevitably, the community comes together and helps out.
I wish I had easier direct access to my county commissioner like Roy Manny. Get some county commissioners. You know what? Noted. Very noted.
Well, I remember that there are term limits now for the city of Brownsville. So eventually I'm going to be out of things that I could do for the city as a commissioner. County may be a place that I look at in the future.
Yeah, that's why it's important to get things done as soon as possible so that people can see these changes, and they're going to want to keep these changes instead of and follow up on them. Yes, Roy, no problem. Adopt them. They're awesome. I agree. I like cats.
Yes.
My neighbor has about 20 cats. I'm cool with it. Yeah, 20 cats and no rat. I'd rather have cats around than have rats and mice and rodents and that kind of thing.
Just make sure it gets fixed. We don't want those 20 turning into 80.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to share with us or say, your closing words? We're not going to do this every single day. He needs to have a life, obviously. But as often as you want to come, or if there are some issues that come up, I will message you, and likewise, and then we can figure out how often you'd like to come online. But as often as you see fit, I should say. Definitely.
And even if I know we talked about before coming on, following every city commission meeting, whether it's that day or within the next day or two. But also, if there's something controversial coming up that citizens are aware of and they want to speak about it before the meeting, let me know. So reach out to Manny, folks, and if there's a need, I'm happy to come on before a meeting to make sure I'm getting the input from as many citizens as possible, because we know that the public comment time is limited right now. But I want to hear as many comments and from as many people as possible, not just in District 3, but citywide.
Yeah, and I will bring up comments or things that I hear, but also when we have events like this, when we do have Roy here live, ask, have your concerns ready, and please bring them forward.
Definitely.
As you know, Roy's not shy about making himself available. So
That's right.
that's awesome. Thank you for your time with us. Okay, I think we're good for right now. Anything comes up, we will let you know again when we'll have Mr. De Los Santos back. Thank you for making yourself available. I do appreciate it. I'm sure the public appreciates it.
Always.
And everyone, I will reach out to others, and it'd be nice to have everyone do what you're doing. Make yourself available. Listen to their concerns. And, you know, sometimes people are not going to be happy, and they will complain, but
And that's their right. That's their right.
Territory. It's their right, and it's your job as a commissioner to listen to it and take it and try to make something happen.
Absolutely.
So I definitely will. Thank you, Manny and Roy. Indeed. Gotcha. Roy, have a great evening. Commissioner, have a great evening.
Likewise. Safe travels to you. When are you back in town?
On the 15th.
And how long are you in town for?
I'll be in for a good while.
All right. Let's get together for a drink when you're in town. Manny and I have never met in person, folks. And there was a small window last week or the week before, but it didn't work out. But I look forward to meeting you in person, Manny.
Excellent. Definitely make it a point to do that. And maybe even do a live together, live instead
awesome.
of, you know.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll make that happen. And I will reach out to other commissioners, and I don't know, maybe we can make this a regular thing. And I think it'd be good for the city.
Absolutely.
Thank you once again, sir. Have a great night. Everyone, thanks for stopping by and visiting for a little bit. I know it's you have a busy afternoon after work, but we do appreciate you coming by and giving us your input. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone.